Motorsport 411 presents
all the four- and two-wheeled action.
Motorsport 411 with Sean Cardovillis.
Welcome to Motorsport 411, your home for all your four- and two-wheel action in Africa. Coming up in this episode, we continue our build-up to the 2023 WRC Safari Rally that will be held between the 22nd and the 25th of June. We speak to the event director of the WRC Promoter Simon Larkin, and we catch up with reigning Kenya National Rally Champion Karan Patel, who's competing in the Rally 2 class.
All the four- and two-wheeled action. Motorsport 411.
Welcome to the show. So the WRC Safari Rally is set to be held between the 22nd and the 25th of June. Simon Larkin is the event director for WRC Promoter. Simon, thank you so much for speaking to us on Motorsport 411. It's that time of year again, the Safari Rally. Your third event as event director of the WRC Promoter. You must be looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think everyone looks forward to coming back to Kenya. As a company, it's one of our proudest moments to have brought the Safari Rally back to WRC in 20 years because of its iconic history, but also its sense of adventure that it gives not just for the drivers, but I think everyone involved in the World Rally Championship. It's still the peak of the most adventurous place that we get to go.
Now, one of the key pledges of the president is the accessibility of the event to the public. You personally saw, the hundreds of thousands of people that flocked down to Nakuru County for the event. Your thoughts on that?
We agree with the attitude of the government, a bottoms-up attitude. We want to make and continue to evolve the Safari Rally into an event that's not owned by a particular government, it's not owned by a particular minister, that it's owned by the people of Kenya. And I think that that's something that we're trying very hard to do. We're working on the accessibility for the ceremonial start. We have a new plan that's going around to hopefully bring the drivers into spectator points, just to open things up a bit. The accessibility of the sport or the championship doesn't have to revolve necessarily around things like the service park, but it can just be the entire route. You know, this is an event that spreads a long way and it covers a lot of distance and a lot of territory. And we want everyone who's available to come anywhere and to touch the event.
Simon, Rally Italy held recently, and it looks like it was as tough as the Safari. Yeah,
I think a lot of people used it as a lot of teams use it as testing for the Safari. I think I've been to 10 or 12 Rally Italias, and I've never seen conditions like that. The rain was just unbelievable, the wind. But I think that was good. I think, again, everyone enjoys the adventure. This is what the WRC can offer.
Speaking to the officials here, the clerk of the course, Guvi, saying that there's going to be less fesh this year. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that's something that's shared by everyone, is that we want the event to be tough. It doesn't have to be rough. That's what we want. We want a tough event. We want to challenge the drivers. We want to challenge the co-drivers. We want to challenge the team members. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be an event that's going to unnecessarily damage cars. That's not what the WRC should be about. This is a sport that's against the clock. It's not always supposed to be against deliberate obstacles or anything. And I think there was only a small amount of fesh that had to be fixed or altered. It wasn't much. We're talking 200 meters, 300 meters. We're not talking about a massive change here.
The rumours circulating that this could be the last event in Naivasha before possibly moving to a new location.
I think there's discussions that have to be had with the CS, and we're happy to understand that. We think Naivasha is a great home. I think we can involve ourselves better with the local community in Naivasha. I think we need to embrace Naivasha. Whether it should move to another location, we would need to be convinced of that.
Simon, the conditions might be very different this year. There's been very, very heavy rain in the country, in the first half of the year. Any concern from the teams in regards to the route and it possibly being very, very rough, and the concern possibly about the black cotton soil?
No. These cars are pretty tough. We think we've got the equipment to deal with the conditions, and as long as everything can happen safely, we'll push ahead as planned.
The start, not at the iconic KICC. It's going to be at Uhuru Park. From your point of view, are you looking forward to that?
Very much so. Anything that can bring this event closer to a wider number of people is something that we embrace and that we want to push further and further. And I think, particularly with Uhuru Park being quite a new asset, I think it's quite exciting that we can be, a major event happening in there. I'm looking forward to seeing the crowds and seeing the people, and for the president and the CS to see the people as well.
Finally, Simon, what's your message on behalf of the WRC for people coming to watch the Safari Rally?
Do it safely. Come and enjoy. Bring the family. Pay attention to what the marshals or the officials tell you. But come along and have a great time and have a great party.
The event director for WRC Promoter Simon Larkin, thank you so much as always for speaking to us on Motorsport 411.
It's a pleasure, Sean. I look forward to seeing you next week.
We'll be back.
All the 4 and 2-wheeled action. Motorsport 411.
So welcome back. Now the 2023 WRC Safari Rally is next on the calendar and will be held between the 22nd and the 25th of June. Competing in the event will be reigning world champion and defending Safari Rally champion Kalle Rovanperä.
Hi, it's Kalle Rovanperä here. Last year, myself and Jonne took the victory in the best and most epic rally on the calendar in Kenya. So this year we are really excited to come back to Safari Rally, and I hope to see you all there because we are going full send again.
Now Karan Patel is the reigning Kenya National Rally champion and is entered in the Rally 2 class in the WRC Safari Rally. I spoke to Patel recently and I asked him how much of a boost it was getting sponsorship from KCB.
So, it's always much better to have a sponsor on board because historically speaking, we've always been, let's say most of the time we've been self-sponsored, and when it comes to race day, there's always a slight bug in my head reminding me that any damage or anything we do to the car will be a direct impact on our finances. So it does help to have a sponsor on board, to have a good amount of funding behind us to be able to really push the car, knowing that following the event, we'll be able to bring the car back to a state that is ready to race for the next event. As you know, with the WRC, we are against the best in the world, and we really have to push the limits of the car and of myself and my co-driver. So we're just pushing to the maximum, and having some financial backing behind us helps us do that.
The preparations for the Safari, how's that gone so far?
Yeah, it's going good. I mean, as a team now, having my very first mechanic or engineer, Raju, and then now we have Rob on board. We're making good progress with our car, but we're hopefully trying to establish ourselves as a professional outfit for preparing rally cars, especially R5 vehicles. And so we've actually found ourselves preparing about 3 rally cars, all Ford Fiestas actually, Ford Fiesta R5s. So we're in full gear, full steam ahead, preparing all these cars for the event. The fact that we didn't do ARC Uganda left us with a car in good condition, ready to race for the Safari. So it means the team is quite focused on preparing other vehicles for other parties for the event, and hopefully the work we do will speak for itself.
I've been following your journey since you got the R5. I remember the first few rallies, how you were having technical gremlins and things like that. It was a learning curve at that time. You've probably set the benchmark in the country in terms of preparations, right down to a fine detail. Everything from the frame of the car to the engine to even the appearance of the car is second to none now.
Yeah, I mean, we have a very good team, a team that has been with me since 2014, and Rob joined us now. It's his 3rd year with us. So we tend to take pride in having people who have been with us for the longest time. It shows a good relationship. It shows a good working environment for them. It's a good outfit, and we all have this mutual respect and this feeling of us being a family. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes now following the gremlins we faced when we first got the R5. It's all about lessons, and the best way to learn lessons is by making the mistakes and then learning from them. There's only so much you can read about and learn from books or articles, but the best way to learn is to make the mistake and then make some corrective actions towards that.
the entries have come out for the Safari Rally. It looks like there's going to be, I think, 12 entries in the Rally 2 category. It looks very, very competitive. We saw in Rally Portugal how competitive it is. For you, realistically, how are you feeling ahead of the Safari?
Bit nervous for sure, but we did get a good taste of our pace from the 2022 Safari. We had Kajtanovic, who was quite fast, outpacing us quite significantly in most of the stages. So it gives me a good idea of what I need to do this year and how I need to drive this year in order to keep up with that pace. As much as I'm nervous, I'm really driven to perform and prove myself, because this is the time and the opportunity to do that. So it's a mix of excitement and nervousness together. But yeah, I've come a long way in the sport, and I've had a lot of days where I'm very nervous going into events. So this is nothing new to me. It's something I think I'll be able to handle. Just keep a positive mind. And the most important part is that we do our best. It'll be nice being a Red Bull athlete alongside other Red Bull athletes in the event, and just looking forward to it. And hopefully we can really make a good result.
Now, a huge local boost. We've got Carl Tundo, who's going to be entering in a Skoda. From your point of view, how much competition does that add to you personally? And then how proud as a Kenyan do you feel having him there in the Rally 2 category?
Yeah, with Flash, it's nice to have him there. It's quite a surprise when I heard, but definitely it adds to the competition. It gives Kenya better chances of posting a good final result. And, us as Kenyans will be proud if either of us finish in the top 10. It would be nice. Hopefully both of us are there. Flash and I both know the challenges of the Safari and, what it takes to get to the finish. But at the same time, it is a WRC event, and there's no room for us to be sleeping around and trying to save the car too much. There has to be risks to be taken. And competition wise, I've raced against Flash and Boldy in the prime, and in some cases we've come out on top. So it does show that we should be at par with one another going into the event. And so hopefully it's just going to be a good strong finish for Team Kenya.
Karan, heavy rain expected during the Safari. We are now well into our cold season as well. What are the expectations during the Safari, the final week of June?
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be a bit of a wet rally, but you never know. It's something like what happened in Uganda. I learned a good, tough lesson there, where we saw the forecast was going to be, wet the whole week. And little did I know the weather would turn. So I'm expecting the same kind of conditions in Safari, but I do remember our first Uganda ARC in the wet. I think we beat everyone by 1:40 seconds in a 20-kilometer stage, and I didn't think I was too fast. So I do have that little confidence that I should be able to be quite quick in wet conditions. With the Safari, we're part of a bigger picture now, representing KCB and obviously Red Bull, and you never know. Yeah, it's the cold season, but we won't know what the weather is like maybe up till the day before.
Just finally, of course, you, Onka, Flash, finishing in the top 10 in 2021. Realistically, your expectations, given the competition, coming for this year's rally?
Yeah, I mean, 2021 was a time at which it was new for all international participants also. For the 2023, it's going to be the third time, or the fourth for some, for them to be taking part in the Safari. So rally drivers are a bit, we have a skill of, learning to memorize the stages, and I'm pretty sure the top drivers have learned to memorize the stages and the tricky parts. And so, they are more familiar with the conditions and the strategy that's needed to finish the event. So the chances of a top 10 finish are slim, but not impossible at the same. But hopefully we can do some good results and finish quite high up in the WRC 2 category.
Karan, we really, really appreciate your time as always. Thank you so much for sparing the time to speak to us.
Thanks, Sean.
That's the reigning Kenya National Rally Champion, Karan Patel. We'll be back.
Motorsports 411 with Sean Cardovillis.
So that's it for the show this week. Our thanks very much to Simon Larkin and Karan Patel. Our thanks as always to Big City Studio. I'm Sean Cardovillis. See you next week.